In 2009, I was first approached by my friend and colleague Sam Calagione, founder of Dogfish Head Brewery, about being involved in a book on the dawn of American craft brewing. Sam planned on doing several long, in-depth interviews with a handful of brewers to try to capture what it was like during the early years before many people accepted or even knew what craft beer or being a craft brewer was all about. The marketplace was so different than it is today, and it's hard for many beer drinkers who grew up with craft beer to imagine a time when there were virtually no options other than American light lagers and a few almost indistinguishable imported lagers. I was enthusiastically but cautiously on board and welcomed the opportunity to revisit those early years of building Sierra Nevada Brewing Company and tell my story. Over the years, several people had tried to convince me to write my own book, but I never felt I had time and put it off. When Sam asked, my time was already pretty well committed as usual, but it seemed worthwhile. I thought I could fit it into my busy schedule since he would be doing most of the work. Sam had already written 2 beer books, and I thought he had the desire and energy to dig into the story. In the past few years, there have been several accurate and well-researched publications that have done a good job touching on the early pioneers of craft brewing and the industry's rapid growth over the past 30 years, as well as giving a good overview of the wider beer industry. Maureen Ogle's Ambitious Brew, Tom Acitelli's The Audacity of Hops, and Steve Hindy and Tom Potter's Beer School give readers an inside look at the craft industry. Even so, there's a lot that hasn't been written about the amazing American beer revolution that has spawned an unprecedented consumer movement and that has now spread globally with U.S.-inspired craft breweries opening in dozens of countries around the world. Sam planned to write a more focused book with just the handful of brewers who took a big leap of faith and decided to get into the brewing business when, based on all accounts, the odds were heavily stacked against them. He was going to start with the first generation of home brewers who went pro in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Charlie Papazian's participation would weave in the role that home brewing played in the establishment of the Association of Brewers, which became the current Brewers Association. When Sierra Nevada took that leap, the American brewing industry had hit bottom, with scarcely 40 individual brewing companies in existence. The industry had hit a high of more than 3,000 breweries in the 1870s, but declined after that as a result of Prohibition, the repeal of Prohibition, and other forces. The few small breweries that remained in the 1970s were unable to compete with a handful of aggressive national brands that capitalized on economies of scale both in lower production costs and in their ability to leverage syndicated radio and later TV to promote their increasingly homogeneous light lagers.